Hello, this section of my garden is an area which I would say is a very perfect example of envisioning, planning, and preparing your garden beds or saying the area in a garden. So, this is the area of our house where it is right in the backyard as soon as we step out from the backyard door, and I would love this area to be filled up with seasonal flowers, mostly perennials, and of course some annuals too, to keep up the vibrant colors. And I also want to utilize this space to be a little handy for me to go and get some herbs for my kitchen. So this is how I plan this area of my garden to be. And I have a lot of redwood tree roots all along this area, and it's not easy, it wasn't easy to work with this soil. So when I started off in this area, I was doing only the annuals and eventually started inculcating some of the perennials too. And this is my year 2 in this garden, and I planted some of the mums all along the edge of the bed. And mums, they don't grow super tall, so the front has some colors. I have those ice plants that gives some color in spring. It's very vibrant in spring, and usually I plant some nasturtiums on the edges of those on the corners of the bed, so the nasturtiums usually flow down and it gives a beautiful vibrant color. My videos are extremely raw for now. I'm just presenting the garden as is, the way I see it every day. So it's not edited to make them look more pretty, or this is how it is. So I have a tropical section planted here. That's how I love it to be. So I have some hibiscus and jasmines and different varieties of hibiscus and jasmine that goes all along the fence because they grow to be taller plants. And all in the front is what I have, like different color mums which are going to bloom very soon. And in between those places, before my jasmines and hibiscus pick up, I try to grow some zinnias to add that pop of color as soon as we head out. And whatever empty spaces I have, I usually try to fill them up with either some pots to add some color, or I try to go and add some herbs. The challenge for me in this area of the garden is the sunlight, and I'm trying to grow tropicals here. So it's pretty challenging, but the way that is working for me until today is that I'm okay with my plants growing really slow. I don't mind with them going really slow, and I don't want them to be huge and humongous plants. So I plant them pretty close. If we start off from that section, this side of our garden, all of this side is that's about southwest, I should say, and this is all the west wall. And because of these redwood trees, I don't get any sunlight there. In the morning, all I get is about, literally to those banana plants, I hardly get about an 1.5 hour of sunlight, or a max 2.5 hours during the summers. That's why they are very small. So I got a bigger plant, so the evening sun catches up onto the top of the plant and eventually it will grow faster. And right next to it, I have the curry leaves, which are used in the Indian cooking every single day. So I want that plant for sure, but I don't want it to be extremely big. I'm okay with it being about 4 feet tall and maybe 2 to 3 feet wide is more than enough for me. I tried planting some of the plants there, which is star jasmine, which didn't catch up because there's absolutely no light, and the redwood trees are really shallow rooted, which caught up in that area, which I have to take care. And I will plant something in the future right there. And we have the miracle tree, the moringa, which is catching up slow, really slow. And here comes a great example of what you can do when you're only getting 2 hours of sunlight at the root level of the plant, right? So I had this dewy jasmine, which was about 2 feet height for the last 2 years. So it was in a sunny location in a pot. Once it got up to about 2 to 3 feet height, I came and planted it here. And this is the whole idea of planting against the fence, and is when I said it is okay to plant when I plan to plant it in a spot where it gets only 2 to 3 hours of sunlight, I'm okay with that because it took about 8 months for the plant to catch up onto the top, but now it gets the evening sun too, because the top layer of the fence, the top part of the fence, do get a hour more of sunlight, which is amazing. And as it catches up, it keeps catching up more sunlight, and it will help with the growth of the plant. And I do have my mandibulas, the same thing, like about half of this section only get 3 hours of sunlight. That section is much better towards the west, and that gets more sunlight because there is nothing blocking. The sunlight doesn't get blocked, and it just comes that way to that section of the garden. So, and that's how the plants are more vibrant there, more healthy, fast growing. But I'm completely okay with this section being slower, and in the meanwhile I will keep compensating this area with more colorful annual plants. And this is how it works. It's working for me, and I hope within the next 2 to 3 years I'll have at least half of the fence covered with the hibiscus and the jasmine. And just for an idea, I've planted them about 1.5 to 2 feet apart, and I don't mind because I want them to grow to a certain height, just about the fence height, and I'm good with that. So I had a hibiscus, and then Mysore jasmine, and then I had a hibiscus again, I had some rosemary, and all of these are really closely planted. I would say I had a Grand Duke, I have an orange hibiscus, and next to it again I have a jasmine, and next to that I have a hibiscus. So it's just like the way I had all my jasmines planted across here, and most of my hibiscuses too. And I keep planting this annual summer crops just to keep the fence full and make it look more nice and beautiful. So now I'm going to remove all the zinnias, and then the pop of the mums will really show up as the season picks up. And I'll keep amending the soil here. Maybe I'll add a few seeds of herbs or something that is really handy for me. And this area is definitely going to pick up much faster in the future. Like I would say, give it 2 to 3 years, maybe 2 years for this area to be really full. And until then, every season I do have some color going on. I will have some something or the other that I can make productive use of this space. So I hope this helps. This is a little bit of planning that we talked about on how to use our place effectively, and this is what I envisioned for my garden in this area, visually the way I want it to look. And I've separated my garden into different sections where I do keep mixing and matching things, but this is my main flower bed. And another thing, the reason I wanted my jasmines here was, like, once we step out into the backyard, I do want that nice fragrance. Along with that, I do want some nice color too, and jasmines are always green here. Hibiscus are fairly green. So my selection of the hibiscus also is something that is not leggy. The hibiscuses that grow more bushy are the ones that I picked. And if I lose a plant or two, it's okay, I can replant them. But I think this is helpful to understand that garden picks up slowly. It's either you invest in time and work in the garden developing your soil, or of course we can go ahead and get bigger plants and establish your garden at once. It's either of the choices. The choice is always ours. And I hope this video is helpful, and I'll try my best to keep showing the different sections in my garden the way I'm planting them, because this is still a journey. This is just my year 2 in the garden, and I have a lot going on with planning and executing and then failing. So this is a journey that I can share my experience. I have been gardening for the last 5 years, but this section or this area of my garden, this is new. So I hope this is helpful, and looking forward to listen to some questions. That way I know what I can talk about, or I would love to share my experience with whatever knowledge I do have. Thank you so much.